The Stolen Retirement. A 10,000-word novella. Part 1. The Classroom and the Corolla. Dayton, Ohio, 2011. Harold Jenkins had a system for the first day of school. He'd arrive at 6:15 a.m., unlock room 204, and write the same sentence on the chalkboard in his careful block print. History is not what happened. It's who decides to remember. Then he'd brew Folgers in the faculty lounge, pour it into the chipped mug that said World's Okayest Teacher, a gag gift from the class of '98, and wait for the bell. 38 years. Same ritual. Same squeak in the hallway outside the band room. Same flicker in the fluorescent light above the Civil War diorama. He knew every kid who'd ever fallen asleep in third period, usually Tommy Brewer, who worked midnight shifts at the GM plant, and exactly how many coffee mugs it took to survive a parent-teacher night. 7. Harold taught U.S. history like it was a love letter to the country. He'd pace between desks in his corduroy blazer, elbows patched, and tell stories. How his own father, a B-17 tail gunner, came home from Bastogne with frostbitten toes and a purple heart he kept in a cigar box. How Marlene, his wife of 41 years, had danced with him under paper streamers at the 1969 senior prom, while the DJ played Build Me Up Buttercup. How the moon landing wasn't just science. It was a promise that ordinary people could do impossible things. Kids listened. Some cried during the Pearl Harbor unit. A few came back years later. Cops, nurses, one Marine who saluted him in the Kroger aisle and said, "Mr. J, you made me believe the past mattered." When he retired at 65, the faculty threw him a party in the gym. Red punch. Sheet cake. A plaque that read, "Mr. Jenkins. He made the past matter." He cried a little. Then he went home to the quiet ranch house on Willowbrook Lane and started planning the rest of his life. His daughter Lauren was the plan. Lauren Jenkins was 28, brilliant and drowning. She graduated summa cum laude from Ohio State, aced the MCAT, and matched into a residency at Harborview Medical Center in Seattle, top tier, life-changing. But the move was a financial avalanche. First month's rent on a Capitol Hill studio, security deposit, scrubs, textbooks, plane tickets, U-Haul for the few things she owned. She called him on a Tuesday night, FaceTime pixelated with worry. "Dad, I hate asking," she said, voice cracking. "But if I don't go now, I'll be stuck doing urgent care shifts forever. I want to be a cardiologist. I want to save people." Harold sat at the kitchen table, the one Marlene had refinished in 1987. He opened the spreadsheet he'd been avoiding. Account. Balance. Retirement fund. $52,347.22. Marlene's life insurance. Included. Cruise savings. Included. Emergency nest egg. Included. He'd lived on a teacher's salary his whole life. Clipped coupons. Drove a 2003 Corolla with 187,000 miles and a duct-taped side mirror. Never took a vacation farther than Cedar Point. This money was supposed to be his golden parachute. A little condo in Clearwater. Maybe a used fishing boat. A porch swing where he could read The Guns of August while the Gulf breeze rattled the palms. But Lauren's eyes, those were Marlene's eyes. Hazel. A little too wide when she was scared. "Take it," he said. "All of it. Just promise me one thing. Anything. When you're done, when you're a doctor and the world's yours, you'll come get me. We'll live near each other. I'll babysit your kids. I'll be the grandpa who tells bad jokes at Thanksgiving. Deal?" Lauren laughed through tears. "Deal, Dad. I swear. Pinky swear." He wired the money the next morning. Watched the balance drop to $312.14. Felt lighter somehow. Like he'd passed the baton in a relay race he'd been running alone for decades. Part 2. The Slow Fade. 2011 to 2017. The first year, Lauren called every Sunday. She described the Seattle rain. "It's like living inside a car wash, Dad." And send photos. Her in scrubs, hair in a messy bun, stethoscope like a badge of honor. Harold printed them at Walgreens and taped them to the fridge. Year 2, the calls became bi-weekly. She was on 80-hour weeks. "I slept in a call room that smelled like feet and regret," she texted. He sent care packages. Skyline chili cans, Grippo's barbecue chips. A note that said, "You got this, kid." Year 3, she met Ryan. An ER nurse. Tall. Beard. Laughs like a sitcom dad. They got engaged in Pike Place Market under the fish-throwing guise. Harold flew out for the wedding. His first time on a plane since 1992. He walked her down the aisle in a rented tux, cried during the father-daughter dance to Butterfly Kisses, and gave a toast that ended with, "Lauren, you've always been my best student. Now go teach the world how to have a heart." He flew home lighter again. The Corolla coughed but started. Year 4, the house hunt began. Lauren sent Zillow links. Craftsman bungalows in Bellevue. Mother-in-law suites with French doors and mountain views. "This one's perfect, Dad. Your room has a gas fireplace. We close in June. Start packing." Harold sold the ranch house to a young couple with a baby on the way. He kept Marlene's rocking chair, the war medals, the Niagara Falls photo. Everything else went to Goodwill. He moved into Oakwood Senior Apartments, beige walls, thin carpet. A neighbor named Mrs. Kowalski who played Wheel of Fortune at volume 47. But it was temporary. Lauren was coming. Part 3: The Call. Oakwood Senior Apartments, March 2017. Harold was in the laundry room, folding socks with the precision of a man who'd graded 6,000 essays, when his phone buzzed. "Lauren." He smiled before he answered. "Hey kiddo. You see the forecast? I'm gonna need galoshes." A pause. Then, "Dad, we need to talk." The dryer hummed. Someone's TV laughed in the next room. Harold's stomach dropped like a stone in a well. "Ryan and we've been thinking. The house is perfect but it's tight. The kids, we're trying for a baby, and my hours are insane. We think you'd be happier in assisted living. There's a great place in Tacoma. Memory care wing, activities, meals included. We'll visit every Sunday." Harold gripped the phone so hard the case cracked. "You said the suite. You said." "I know what I said. But things change, Dad. You're not getting younger. What if you fall? What if you forget your meds? We can't risk it." Risk it? Like he was a liability. A broken appliance. A line item to be managed. "Lauren," he said slowly, "that was my money. Every dime. For us. And we're grateful. God, Dad, we are. But this is about your safety. Please. Just tour the place. For me." He hung up, sat on the plastic chair, stared at the lint trap until it blurred. That night, Harold couldn't sleep. The apartment smelled like bleach and someone's burnt toast. He opened his laptop, ancient Dell, sticky keys, and logged into his bank app. The retirement account was gone. Closed. But wait. There was a second account. A CD Marlene had opened in 2012 with a life insurance payout after her mother died. $18,000. Matured last year. Untouched. He'd forgotten it existed. He stared at the screen until the numbers danced. Part 4. The baby monitor. The next morning, Harold took the bus to the library, printed Greyhound schedules, Googled cheap flights to anywhere, found a senior travel group leaving for Ireland in 3 weeks. $1,200. He booked it with shaking hands. Then he called Lauren. "I'm not coming," he said. "What?" "I heard you. Last night. On the baby monitor app. Ryan left it open on his phone when he called me to check in. You said, he'll fight it, but once he's in, he'll adjust. Old people always do. You said the Tacoma place takes Medicaid after the money runs out. You said, we'll keep the good furniture. The suite can be a home gym." Silence. Then, "Dad, that was private." "No. What was private was my life. My savings. My trust. You don't get to plan my ending like I'm already gone. Dad, please. I'm taking a trip. Ireland. Then maybe Italy. I've got $18,000 left, and for the first time in my life I'm spending it on me. When I get back I'll find my own place. Near a school maybe. I hear they need substitute teachers." "You're being dramatic." "No, sweetheart. I'm being awake." He hung up, powered off the phone, packed the navy suitcase, not with medals but with the lightweight jacket, a good book, The Guns of August, and a printout of his CD statement. Part 5. Ireland, The Awakening. April 2017, Dingle County, Kerry. The tour group was 12 strong. 6 widows, 2 divorced dads, 1 retired nurse named Gloria who laughed like a trumpet, and Harold. They called themselves the Silver Liners. Their bus driver, Seamus, played fiddle in pubs and swore the sheep had right of way. Harold's first night in Dingle. He sat in a pub called the Dingle Goat. Pete Fire. Guinness. A trio of old men playing the parting glass. He raised his pint. To Marlene, he toasted, who taught me to save. And to Lauren, who taught me to spend. Gloria leaned over. You look different, Harold. Lighter. He smiled. I am. They hiked the cliffs of Maher. Harold's knees screamed, but he made it to the edge. The Atlantic roared below like it had opinions. He thought of Marlene, how she'd wanted to see Ireland but never got the chance. He pulled a small tin from his pocket. Inside, a lock of her hair from 1972. He let the wind take it. In Killarney, he taught a group of schoolkids how to say Gettysburg Address, in an Ohio accent. They giggled. He grinned. One girl, Aoife, asked, Sir, do you miss your daughter? He paused. I miss who I thought she was. Part 6. Italy, The Reckoning. May 2017, Cinque Terre. The group took a train to the Italian Riviera. Harold walked the Sentiero Azzurro alone at dawn. The sea was the color of Marlene's eyes. He sat on a stone wall and wrote a letter he'd never send. Lauren, I used to think love was giving until there was nothing left. I was wrong. Love is knowing when to stop. You took my money. You took my trust. But you can't take my story. I'm writing a new chapter. Without you. Dad. He folded it, slipped it into a bottle, and tossed it into the Ligurian Sea. In Florence, Gloria kissed him under the Duomo. It was soft, surprising, and tasted like limoncello. They didn't talk about it after. Just held hands on the train to Venice. Part 7, Alaska, The Return. July 2017, Glacier Bay. The cruise was Gloria's idea. You've seen the old world. Now see the new one being born. They watched calving glaciers from the deck. Chunks of ice the size of buildings crashed into the sea. Harold thought, this is what letting go feels like. One night the northern lights danced. Green curtains. Purple edges. Harold cried. Not from sadness, but from the sheer size of a world that didn't need his sacrifice to keep spinning. Part 8, Ohio, The Final Lesson. September 2017, Dayton. Harold came home with a tan, a limp from the cliffs, and a new suitcase sticker. Ireland, Italy, Alaska. He rented a small bungalow near the high school, substituted 3 days a week. The kids called him Mr. J again. Lauren showed up unannounced one October afternoon. She was 7 months pregnant, eyes red. Ryan waited in the car. Dad, she said, voice small. I was wrong. I was scared. The house, the baby, the loans. I thought if I controlled everything I'd be safe. But I lost you. Harold looked at her belly. Thought of the grandchild he might never know. You didn't lose me, he said. You just made me find myself. She cried. He hugged her. It was awkward, bellies and pride, but real. Epilogue, The Plaque. Spring 2018. The high school renamed the history wing the Harold J. Jenkins Center for Living History. The plaque now read, he taught us that the past isn't dead. It's just waiting for someone brave enough to remember it differently. Harold stood in front of it on opening day, Gloria on one arm, Lauren, now a new mom, on the other. Baby Marlene gurgled in a carrier. He smiled at the crowd of students, teachers, and one very sheepish Ryan. Class, he said. Today's lesson is simple. History isn't what happened. It's who decides to remember. And what they choose to do next. He looked at Lauren. She nodded. For the first time in years, she looked like the girl who'd pinky sworn. Harold raised his coffee mug, the same chipped World's Okayest Teacher one, and toasted the room. To new chapters. The Inn.